Britain's King Charles has been diagnosed with a form of cancer, and the 75-year-old will postpone public-facing duties while he undergoes treatment, Buckingham Palace said yesterday. Charles, who became king in September 2022 following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, is wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible, the palace said. Charles spent 3 nights in hospital last month where he underwent a corrective procedure for an enlarged prostate. The palace said a separate issue of concern had been spotted during the hospital visit, but did not give any further details beyond saying the king had a form of cancer. A royal source has revealed that it was not prostate cancer. The news comes just days after Charles and his daughter-in-law, Kate, left the same hospital where they had both undergone planned treatments. US President Joe Biden said he was concerned about King Charles III, telling the press that he had only just heard about the British monarch's cancer diagnosis.
Concerned about him, just heard his diagnosis, but I'll be talking to him, God willing.
And what's next on the border bill?
Border bill, sir. What's next?
Folks, you got him for
Hopefully passage in the Senate.
How?
All right. Enough votes.
we're working the room today.
Joining us on the show to discuss this is Arise Chief Correspondent John Cookson. Good morning, John, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, guys. Great to be on the morning show, as always. Well, Buckingham Palace issued a statement this morning saying that the King is in good spirits. He's been treated as an outpatient at the London hospital. They didn't say which. And he returns home every night. That's to either Buckingham Palace or Clarence House. Buckingham Palace very keen to say that they want business as usual to be seen from the royal family. King Charles himself, as I say, in good spirits. I did see him on TV about 3 days ago, and he did look a lot thinner than he normally is, but he's the kind of stoical fellow with a typical British stiff upper lip who can get on with things, in the face of all adversity. I've been fortunate enough to meet him a couple of times during my career as a journalist, and he's a thoroughly decent, grounded man. So I'm sure that despite the diagnosis, and we don't know where the cancer is in his body, he'll certainly put up a fight and put up a good show.
All right. Well,
any expression or feeling of anxiety out there in the UK, although we're told that the King himself is wholly positive, that the doctors have been able to detect this early enough, and he's in very high spirits, determined to continue with his obligations, as it were.
Let's make no mistake about this. It is a big shock for King Charles to be diagnosed with cancer. As I say, we don't know where the cancer is. It came about because doctors were looking at something else, his prostate. It may have come out of a blood test, or maybe when they were frankly digging around in the area, they found something like bowel cancer. We just don't know. The palace haven't said. But it is a big shock to the British people because, we live in uncertain times. There's a war in Eastern Europe, in the Middle East, and the very constant that everyone in the UK has is the royal family. And when something goes wrong with someone like the King, of course, there is concern. I've seen some horrible stuff, of course, on social media by anti-royalists, but for the vast majority of people, they just wish him well. It's fortunate that the cancer has been found early. That's a good sign, and there's fantastic treatment these days, and he's already started chemotherapy. But nevertheless, it is a shock to the country because, as I say, we live in uncertain times, and the rock, if you like, for many people in Britain, certainly of my generation, is that the royal family should be stable. And don't forget, we've had quite a bit of illness in the royal family recently. Sarah Ferguson, the wife of the Duke of York, diagnosed with cancer herself, breast cancer and skin cancer. We don't know what's wrong with Princess Kate, Princess of Wales. She's just had abdominal cancer treatment. We don't know exactly what. So there is a lot of concern that, all is not well in the House of Windsor at the moment.
That's really sad. Our prayers are with the royal family. But a number of people are wondering who will then take up the official duties of the king while he's undergoing treatment. Of course, like you mentioned, Princess Kate out in terms of recovering from her own treatment. Her husband has also stepped back, that's Prince William, from active duty to look after the children while she's recovering. We've had some of the royal family, like you've mentioned, being ill, Prince Harry and Meghan moving to the US. Who will then take on the functions of the king while he's recovering or while he's in treatment?
Yeah, that's a good question. In fact, Harry is returning to the UK, but there's no question of him actually returning to royal duties. The load will be taken up by Princess Royal, Princess Anne, by Prince Edward, and of course by Queen Camilla. Camilla, of course, a rock in all of this. She is a very stabling influence in the relationship, not only with Charles, but also for the royal family. We know that she smokes like a chimney. She enjoys a gin and tonic, but she is very stoical, and she'll just face what that has to be faced and carry on. So Queen Camilla will take up quite a few of those duties, but as I say, the rest will have to be taken up by the Princess Royal and Prince Edward, because Prince William is really out of it for the time being, as he's looking after the kids at the moment at Windsor.
Okay, real quickly, I was really taken aback by your comment about Camilla. I think Camilla has stopped smoking. I mean, yeah, she smoked heavily for over 30 years, but I think she's been able to get around that, and she got somebody to help her with, that habit. But real quickly, let's talk about the politicking and the dynamics now that will happen in the royal family. Some people are beginning to make postulations. Is it Harry on the cards, Harry coming back? Obviously, yes, you said no as regards that, because you know how Harry left the house. But also, William, is this so much responsibility on his shoulder at a point in time like this? How about the likes of Andrew? How about the likes of, other people out there, in the house, What's the politicking going on? Because cancer, yes, you have modern treatment for cancer, but it could be touch and go sometimes. You could say you will get on top of it and you don't get on top of it. And in fact, there had been talks that probably the royal family did not reveal the true cause of the death of the Queen herself, because cancer does run in the family. Let's not forget that the Queen's father died of cancer, before she was called upon to be the Queen. So let's talk about the internal politics, because you might not want to have the conversation, but it's thrown up another succession conversation in the works.
Just for the record, I did see Camilla smoking the other day, but let's just park that to one side. Yes, cancer does run in the royal family quite a lot. Princess Victoria, one of the Queen Victoria's daughters, she died from breast cancer. King Edward VII had skin cancer. King Edward VIII had throat cancer. King George VI had lung cancer, and also the Queen Mother had two types of cancer. There has been a lot of cancer in the royal family. As far as the politics are concerned, look, Prince Charles, King Charles, I still can't get used to calling him King Charles yet. Charles has been carving out his own identity. He's only been king since a year last September. It took years for Queen Elizabeth to establish herself, and he's doing that. And right now, everything is on hold until this chemotherapy treatment and whatever other treatment is needed is over. And it's down to the other members of the royal families, as we've discussed, taking up the slack. There's no question of the Duke of York coming back into the fold at the present time, especially with signs that there may be other revelations to come in respect of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Prince Harry flying back. We don't know when he's going to arrive in London. He's obviously trying to make the peace with his father. But there's no question of him taking up royal duties anytime soon. His wife remaining in California with the two children. So it's getting a bit tight as far as the royal family are concerned and carrying out royal duties. Of course, factotums can work out the diary. I'm sure there will be a lot of disappointment, people expecting to see the king in the coming weeks at events that have already been planned. And there are state visits planned for this year. It's not sure when that's going to go ahead. So the politics of it all, I think, is already in place. The royal family depleted at the moment, but in true British spirit, I think they'll soldier on and sail through things as best they can.
John, well, I thought the point had been made that the Prince of Wales is going to take on more responsibilities, while the king will remain in the background effectively as head of state. But let me ask you an odd question. What does it say about leadership, responsibility, transparency? And I ask you this question because in the concluding paragraph, in that statement from Buckingham Palace, it stated very clearly that the king has put out this statement to prevent speculation and to also promote understanding among persons who may be suffering from cancer around the world. But you see, from our own experience here in Nigeria, African leaders, whether they are traditional rulers or monarchs or presidents, don't like to disclose their health conditions due to superstition and all of that. But what does this say about transparency and accountability? The example.
Well, as far as the British royal family is concerned, I think they've been pretty transparent in recent weeks about the king's health, and in recent weeks they talked about him having a prostate problem, but it was a benign problem. And as soon as the cancer diagnosis was revealed, and King Charles knew about it last week, it's only been released yesterday. I think in Buckingham Palace terms, they've been pretty open about things. And as you say, the king wouldn't perhaps have it in any other way, because he wants a discussion about cancer, because obviously it's a very frightening disease. People shy away talking about it, but it is very prevalent in the UK at the moment. 1,000 people a day are diagnosed with cancer of some sort in the UK every day. And it's something that perhaps we should be talking about, not only about the victims, to help the victims of cancer, but also family members who are deeply impacted by not only the initial consultation verdict, but also by the treatment that follows. And I sadly have experienced close friends dying from 2 types of cancer. It's not a pleasant experience. The whole process is traumatizing. Cancer is a very, very cruel disease. And being relatively open, they haven't disclosed what kind of cancer the king has, but I think they may well do in due course. So I think, personally, I think they've handled it pretty well so far.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, John Cookson. As we say, or as the British people say, long live the king. We continue to pray that he gets well. Thank you.